work stress, everything involved. So every Friday, people begin to enjoy the day. They be like, oh, and in some parts of the world and in some corporate job, people get back right on Friday. Maybe they spend 3 hours or 4 hours at job, then at work, then they get back home. Yes, and likewise others. And basically, the idea is Saturday, I know I won't go to work. Sunday too, I know I won't go to work. Yes, but then to us, we the traders, we don't care about Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or whatever it is. Yes, unless you are now growing to become a stable trader. Yes, and I believe with RoyalQ, as we keep embarking on this journey, each and every one, our focus is to ensure each and every trader will position himself to become a stable trader where Friday wouldn't become a special day for him, where Saturday wouldn't become a special day for him, but all days will be special because you can get a time to enjoy all days with equal proportion, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, let me use this opportunity to say, thank God it's Friday, and today is Friday. Today, mostly on every Friday, we meet here to have what we called Q&A session, that is question and answer session, basically to help our traders, to guide them understand most of the lessons, most of the session that we've organized, to help our traders, to coach them, for them to be able to ask their necessary questions which models they are taught. Because a great man once said something that a question opens the mind and a statement closes the mind. So if a man really want to progress in life, the easiest thing that can help him or her to build his mental capability is by asking more questions, right? So we open this session to ensure that traders can be able to ask questions. In as much as we asking questions, there are respective days for each session. So being trade settings, um technical analysis fundamentals, and all those sessions, there are specific days where we take time to and handle all those sessions equally and then deeply. So when we meet on Fridays like this, we give an opportunity to you, the trader, to be able to ask questions. But then I would also use this opportunity as we are about to start to inform you that if it happens that maybe sometimes you may ask questions which the in-depth of it may not come, it's because that particular question is needed to be treated on its own as a full topic, right? So today, that's what we are going to do. But before we do that, it's been a while here. Then first, I'll use the opportunity to thank you. There are a lot of you that check up on me in the course of the day, in the course of the week. Most of you check up on me because during the week, last Monday we all met here, very powerful meeting, and along that very same day, I had a serious accident, and by God's grace, God has saved me. My health is okay now, and I'm back here. So I thank you all for your time and then also for your love, and I really appreciate. So before we start, we are 37 here, and the number is not appreciating at all. I don't appreciate the numbers here. So please, I urge you keep sharing the link. But before we, as we keep doing that, we'll start with a session, right? You are not going to wait for anyone. We'll start with a session. So I have my co-host here. That Chadwick Bimbo is with me here, and we are going to handle this session together. So before we start, first, as we used to do, I would really love to know where you are joining this session from. I really love to know where you are joining this session from. So before I start to handle all questions, I would really love to know where you are joining this session from. So first, introduce yourself, your name, and your country, the location where you are joining this session from. So guys, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So your name. All right. So I thank God for you. Your health will not fail. Amen. Oh, amen and amen. Okay. So please, your name and where you're also joining from. So we also have Mr. Samsung Rice from Abuja, Nigeria. Samsung Rice from Abuja, Nigeria. Kenneth Kenrich from Kenya, and then also Chico from where Nigeria. Sorry if I'm not able to pronounce the name right. Then you have Gishan from Nigeria. Grace from Kenya. Franklin from Ghana. Okay. So Grace from Kenya. Gershon from Nigeria. All right, Fidelity, right? Fidelites from Rwanda, Fidelites from Rwanda, and then also Demi from Nigeria, Harun from Uganda, Patrick from Italy, Asaf from Uganda, and then also Msamba from Tanzania. All right, so you are welcome. Nsamba. If I'm not able to pronounce the name right, please, I'm sorry. Kampala, Uganda, that is Infinix Note 8i. All right, so Infinix, mention your name. Kampala from Uganda, that is Kampala, Uganda, right? So Infinix, mention your name. Joyce from Kenya, Eunice from Ghana. Okay, so Eunice, you are welcome. All right, user Anna from South Africa. Anna from South Africa. All right, so Anne, you are welcome. Okay, so let me know your name because so far it's only 5 people that have introduced themselves here this morning. It's only 5 people. So we also have Rose from Kenya. It's only 5 people that have introduced themselves. So including Rose, that is 6. What about the rest? We are about 41 here, and I want to see you introducing yourself, your name. This morning, I've seen the number of people that is dominating this session is Nigerians and Kenyans. I've seen Nigerians and Kenyans dominating this session, and also Ugandans are also here. All right. So Trishana says, sorry for what happened to you, my leader. We thank God for preserving your life. Yes, that is awesome. Then also, she said, Trishana from United Arab Emirates. All right. So, Trishana, you are welcome. I do really appreciate. We have Emmanuel from Kigali, Rwanda. Emmanuel from Kigali, Rwanda. All right. So, my name, you are welcome. You are welcome to this session. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I still want to see you introduce yourself. Some of you decided not to introduce yourself. Okay, so we have leader Chadwick from Nakuru, Kenya. All right, so leader, you are welcome. We also have Labi from Ghana. Labi from Ghana. All right, so Labi, you are welcome. Okay, so Prince from Nigeria. Prince from Nigeria. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, it's been awesome having you here this morning, and I welcome you all. My name is Brother Emmanuel. My name is Brother Emmanuel, and I'm also from Ghana, Accra to be precise. I'm also from Accra, Ghana, and I'm going to be your main host for this session to ensure we have a smooth session this morning, right? So let's go. So finally, we have Gloria from Rwanda. All right, so Gloria, you are also welcome to this session. That is our Q&A session. So ladies and gentlemen, now I open the floor for you to ask your question. And so far, so good. Even though my absence from online, I have come to realize I've seen that the market is booming very well based on the little analysis that I've done. I've come to realize that it seems the market is having more bullish momentum as compared to berry zone. So, well, we will talk more about that. We'll talk more about that before we leave here. But then let me give you the opportunity to ask your questions. You know, this sessions is being handled because mostly ever since we open the opportunity, we gave the opportunity for traders to feel free to communicate on platforms. We realize that a lot of people have different questions that bothers their thoughts, and most questions could be handled properly, not on platform, but in one-on-one sessions like this, where experts and leaders will be able to join to handle your questions for you very clearly, right? So, let me see. I have my co-host here, and um, okay, so let's start with the questions. Let's start. So we are 48 here. Okay. So Kate from Nigeria. All right. So if you put 90% in multiple buy-in ratio for first buy, what will happen if the market go against you from Tanzania? All right. So the first question that our brother Meshach is asking is, if you put 90% in multiple buy-in ratio for first buy, what will happen if the market go against you from Nigeria? Right? So if I get your question right, now that is a case of margin call. So it simply means 10% would have to be your FBA, and then also 90% for multiple buying ratio. That is your margin call limits, margin call drops, right? So in a case, what will happen if you have 90% of your capital to be buying the dip? That is what you are talking about, right? Now, basically, I don't know, either you are talking about sports trading or futures trading, but in all, the first thing that I will say is that now the idea of having margin call drops or opening margin calls is to ensure that you can be able to stay long in the market and win more. That is the purpose of dollar cost averaging, right? Now, the work of dollar cost averaging is to ensure that a trader will be able to be in the market for some time whilst facing the challenges in the market. Okay, so futures trading. All right. So whilst facing the challenges in the market, so in the case of having 90% of your capital in the market, 90% as your multiple buying ratio, what happens if the market goes against you? Now, one thing about market going against you is that if the market goes against you, those capital will be able to buy. That is the first thing that you need to know. But in the case of we asking for liquidation, if it happens that liquidation should pamper you or cover up everything, then everything will go off. Now, this is how it works. Let me see if I can share my screen. Mm, okay. All right. So I have a smooth board here. Let me use this. Now, if I'm setting up a trade, the main idea of having that particular trade, so like you said, you have 90% of your capital, okay, in the market. Sorry, to be buying the drop, which simply means 10% is what you are using to trade, irrespective of the capital, being it $10, $20, or whatever amount that you are using. Out of this $20, 10% is what you are using to trade as your FBA. 90% is what you are using to buy the drop. Now, if you are trading on the futures market, your drop may be either long or short. They are all drop. If you're on short and the market is going against you on long, you buy what is going against you. And then also on short, you also buy what is going against you on the down market, right? So what will happen? If you have this and the market goes against you, the reason why you have this 90% here is to ensure you'll be buying how what the market is going against you with, right? So your mission is to be buying small, small. So this 90% of your capital gets exhausted in the what or gets exhausted. Until then, you are safe in the market because you keep buying with time, right? One thing about the futures market is more money in the market. That is how you can also save yourself. So if I have this 90% capital in the market, which is going to buy for me, it simply means I'm more secured in the market. But that does not mean that liquidation can never happen. When we say some liquidation has happened to a trade, it simply means all this 90% of the capital has been exhausted. Right? So once all the capital gets exhausted and the market still goes against you, that is when you get what's liquidated. So since you're asking what will happen, what happen is your trade will keep buying, so the 90% gets exhausted, also the market reverses back to your position, right? Okay, so let me see the next question. Okay, so under what circumstance can a cross margin position be liquidated in part? I always see such email that cross margin can be liquidated in part or in whole. Under what circumstance can a cross margin position be liquidated in part? I always see such email that cross margin can be liquidated in part or in whole. Yes, so now anytime you see that message, before then we have what we called a prompt, a warning to your trade, right? So when we say it is liquidated in part, it simply means at that moment you choose to close the trade with what you have in the market, or else all the amount of money you have in the market will be liquidated, right? So the in part is the money that you've exposed to the trade. So let's assume if you have let me clean this. So let's assume you have $1,000 in the market. Okay, $1,000. Now with the $1,000, you have $500 that you are using to trade. You have $500 that you are using to trade. $500 remaining remains in your what? In your futures account. In part is with this $500, this amount of money will be liquidated. That is, if it gets to the 80% ratio and then you choose to close it yourself, you choose to close the trade, right? If not, if you are to leave the trade to be liquidated, in whole liquidation simply means all this $1,000 to would be part of the liquidation. You get it? So if it is in part, the impact affects only your $500 that you've exposed to the market. That is when you decide to liquidate yourself or you liquidate the trade yourself, right? But if total liquidation happens, it liquidates everything in whole. That is your general capital in the market, provided that money is also in the futures market. That is when we say you've been liquidated in whole, because most of the liquidation that happens in whole. Okay, so I guess that question has been answered. Okay, all right, so let me see the next question. So what is the difference between using a default setting and your template? What is the difference between smart create or manually create? Please make it clear to us on their usage and then also the best use. All right, so when we talk of default setting, that is the smart create and then also your own template. So it's very clear. When we talk of the smart create, it's just like an auto setup, okay, produced by the bot itself. It's an auto setup produced by the bot itself, which simply means if I want to use smart create, everything has been set already. It's an auto or default setup. When you say something is default, that is system generated, right? And then the manual template or the manual create, it's for me, the trader, to make a conscious decision on how I want to configure the bot myself. That is the first aspect of it. So if we see default, whenever we see default, that is system generated. Okay, so the manually create is for traders who want to configure the bots themselves without tampering with what RoyalQ has given. So they want to fix in the values themselves. Whatever they want to do, every part of the configuration would have to be done by themselves and not the bots. And then with the smart creates, the system has been created already. It's an auto setup, which the trader would prefer to use that one based on what RoyalQ has prescribed for the traders, right? So it's either you are using the bot's prescription or you choose to follow your personal prescription. That is the difference between a smart and then manually creates. Okay, so let me see if it's clear. Okay. So usage and then the best use. Okay, now you see RoyalQ is a quant trading bot, right? When you say quant, they follow what we call quantitative analysis, right? And with that, looking at smart create as an example, you realize that sometimes the default setup alone, the margin configuration, even the one amount to be bought, your capital is not even up to that. Just one call, the first call, your money will not even be up to that. Which simply means if you want the best for yourself, there is no way, and last time I answered this elsewhere, there is no way a bot can decide for you. That is the reason why even with ChatGTP, if you ask good question, you get good results, right? If you ask good question, you get good results. So if you want the best thing is for you to understand how you can configure the bot yourself. Is that clear? The best thing is for you to learn and understand how you can configure it yourself so that you can use the manual create system. Hope that is clear. Hope that is clear. Okay. All right. Now, okay. So my co-host, let me leave this question. So, in entering a trade in 15 minutes, 1 hour, and then also 4 hours, which is the deciding candlestick? Is it the very last or others? So let me see. And my co-host, Leader Chadwick. The next question, he said, in entering a trade in 15 minutes, 1 hour, or 4 hours, which is the deciding candlestick? Is it the very last or others? So if you can assist, let's go.
Good morning, everyone in the Zoom. This is Chadwick Bimbo speaking to you from Nakuru, Kenya. And I would like to give you this answer in this way, that when you are doing your analysis, the candlestick that is last shows you the current price. But the candlesticks that are before the last candlestick gives you the direction and the momentum of that the previous movement in that coin. So if you are looking at the last coin, at the last candlestick for the last 1 hour, it will show you the progress of that 1 hour, the last one. But you also need to have a look at the previous ones and how they were behaving. So candlesticks are a collection of data presented in candlestick form so that you may be able to analyze and see the direction of the movement of that coin. So if you look at the 4-hour time frame, then one candlestick takes care of an average movement or price range for the last 4 hours. But if you want to know that the average of the last 4 hours has very many different prices included, then click on maybe 1 hour, and you'll find that the 1 hour will give you a presentation of 60 minutes, which also has many presentations of very many candlesticks, also taking an average price. And when you move again 15 minutes, you will find that the same 1 hour has now been split into 4 different candles. So the at are determining the last previous movements in the market. So when you are talking about 15-minute time frame, we are saying that that's the average of the price range in the last 15 minutes. If you want to actually look at the current price, then you have to go to either 1 minute or shorter time frame. Exactly of that whole candlestick of 4 hours, where exactly is this market at this point? So if you use the 4-hour time frame and you are just looking at the candlestick, you may not get the right entry point because it might just be something blurred. But when you look at the shorter time frame, then it will give you a specific area and a specific reactions in the market at that very moment. So if you want to make an entry, it's good to see the general direction in long term so that it gives you the trend, but you have to look at the smaller time frame to see where it is best for you to enter that trade. So that's my take for you. The shorter the period, the more accurate the current price. The longer the period, the more blurred the vision on the plan of the price movements. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So thank you so much. Okay. So let me read the next question. Okay. So all right. Now then I noticed that money in Binance profit made is not always added when I wanted to move money from futures to funding in the Binance of a team member. And it's like that even for a member trading spot. Please clarify if there is any charges. Binance charge, please. Okay, so now in the case of trading futures, if you realize that your money is not being movable to your funding wallet, this is what happens. Those that have been using cross margin, if you already have ongoing trade, listen, if you already have ongoing trade and one of your trade gets sold, automatically the profit you make add up to what is in the market. So it makes it moving very, very difficult, especially when that particular trade has been stuck in the market. Do you get it? So if you have ongoing trade in the market and you are using cross margin, mostly it is difficult for that particular profit to be removed from your futures account. It can only save you. That is the only way you can save yourself, is if that is the only trade you have in the market. Once it's sold, you have your profit and then your capital back. But if you already have another trade ongoing and then one trade gets sold, and mostly it happens because that trade is already, the market is already going against that particular trade. And since the market is going against that particular trade, the capital or the profit you've made will still be added to the ongoing trade so that it can sustain itself in the market. That is the reason why sometimes you would like to move funds from your futures accounts to maybe funding, and then the funds wouldn't be able to move. Please, do you get it? So if it happens, don't be worried. When the next trade is sold, automatically you have your freedom. You will see the increments in your account. Now, in the case of sports, so let me see. He said, and it's like that even for a member trading sports. Please clarify if there is any charges Binance charge. So if you have your money if you have a trade in your sports wallet, it's not supposed to be so. It can only happen that is on the futures market because of the cross margin. If you are using isolated margin, that wouldn't be the case, right? So in the case of sports, this may happen. If you are trading on a sports market, sometimes when the trade is sold, the asset automatically does not convert to USDT. It still remains in the token that you are trading. So if you want to get it back on the futures, on the funding wallet, you have to go to convert and then convert the assets into what do you call it, into USDT before you can be able to push it out. So please take notice of that. I think that is clear. If it's not clear, you can get back again. Then, which do you suggest between default settings and manually create? Yes, so I guess I answered that very clearly. That it's good you learn how to configure the bot so that you can by yourself create your own strategy. That is the manually create settings or the manual settings. You can learn how to set the bot yourself so that you can be able to configure things yourself. Because the default setup, that is a smart create there, mostly the values there are so huge for the traders, right? So let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Um,
Please, I can't type. Somebody should help me how to type.
you can't type.
When I'm doing the typing, it's not coming.
All right, hold on. Okay, so then check from your end. I guess people are already sending messages here, so check from your end.
Serious.
Okay, let's proceed. So let me see. Now, so let's check it out here. Being it sports futures or whatever it may be, let me tap on this. Okay, the network. Oh, what's happening? Okay, now let's come to smart create. You can already see that you have the default setup here, and especially click on the margin call parameters, show. So as you can see here, we have the margin call count, drop rates, buy in USDT, right? So the first call and then the percentage drop. This is what I'm talking about. The first call, this is the drop, and then this is the amount of this thing to buy, right? The next one, this is it. Now, as you stand to yourself, even your capital is not up to $100 to even talk of buying the first call alone, right? Buying the first call alone, your capital is not up to that. And this is default setup, right? So if you want to feel so secure, just use the manually create. That is where you can configure things yourself, right? That is where you can configure things yourself. That is where you can do what you can configure things yourself, right? So instead of using the smart create, just proceed to do what to use the manually create so that you can feel so relaxed. Hope that is clear. So if you ask which one is the best, I will say the manually create because you have the opportunity to configure things yourself. Which simply means if you don't have this sum total amount of money to trade, you wouldn't be able to get the good accurate result as the bot is expecting you to get, right? And mind you, the signal that you receive or you analyze yourself, sometimes the drop is not even up to this. Maybe the drop may not be up to this, and yet because you have this, you have to proceed to do or to use it. That is the reason why I strongly believe that the manually create would be best for you. Hope that is clear. Okay, so please can you show how to add margin to running futures trading through the bot? I don't get your question. How to add margin? Running futures through the bot. I'm not getting your question. Please can you come again? So my trade has been in floating loss for a very long time, and I noticed they are not also giving me profits downtrend. It's as if the trade is no more running. So I went to check and I see that the margin calls has reached limits. Please, what can I do to make the bot continue? So the Chadwick, please handle this question and let's go. My trade has been on floating loss for a very long time. I noticed they are not also giving me profit downtrend. It's as if the trade is no more running. So I went to check and I see that the margin call has reached limits. Please, what can I do to make the bot continue trading those coins for me? Okay, so the Chadwick, let's go. Please, can you hear me? Oh, I guess maybe it's network. I guess maybe it's network. Can you all hear me? Yes, then I guess it's network. The Chadwick, if you can hear me, can you unmute yourself? Okay, I guess it's network. Since you cannot hear me.
Sorry. So I was unmuted. I was unmuted when you muted everyone. I was also unmuted. So
Okay.
I was also muted. So I've unmuted myself. So I'm going to address. I'd had your question, and
Okay.
to address that question, the essence of that question was that the balance between his number of margin calls, the settings, and the capital, they did not tie up. Sometimes we use settings that exceed our capital. So when they exceed our capital, then it reaches a point where now the robot cannot buy anymore because there's no more money. So just to answer the last part of that question, is that if you want to continue the robot to continue trading for you, those same coins, increase your capital, open your margin calls, and give them a good drop and a group multiple buying amount that suits the capital that you'll have set. So if you want to trade using margin calls, the first thing that you have to do is to determine how many margin calls do you want to put, and does your number of multiples multiplied by your first buy-in amount, do they tally? If they don't tally, just know that the robot will buy, and at some point it will stop buying because the margin calls will be still going on and the capital is not there. So in that case, the robot turns off the margin call button if the capital is now not able to buy anymore what you had set. So sometimes we also set our multiple buy-ins so high that just buying a few margin calls exhausts all that capital. So you also have to be careful on how the number of multiples that you are putting. In my simple calculation that I would tell you is that if you have, let's say, $1,000 you want to trade with, and you want to trade this coin with the 10 margin calls, the desire is people think that if you have more margin calls, you will make more money, which is not true. But so people are trying to trade with very many margin calls. So let's deal with this one. Who wants to trade 10 margin calls? So the first margin call, the second, the third, and the fourth will usually be sold together. The first 4 margin calls are sold together as one when they reach the take profit ratio. And the fifth upwards, they are sold isolated or differently to each other, especially if you set if you set the robot to buy independently and sell independently, which is called sub-bin mode. So you can buy sub-bin mode real-time settlement or sub-bin mode. So in real-time settlement, it will be buying and selling the margin call from 5, 6, 7, 8 upwards independently. And it may buy and sell, and then get another opportunity again, buy and sell, just the same margin. So if you use real-time, settlement, then it will be able to sell continuously, separately, as it waits for the first 4 margin calls to be sold. So if you allocate your capital in such a way that, like some people are doing, you allocate times 1, times 1, times 1, times 1, times 1, then it means that every time that robot is going to buy, it will be buying the equivalent of what your first buy-in amount was. So if your first buy-in amount for the $1,000, you divided it by 10, and you got $100, so it will be buying $100 every time, $100 every time. But the first 4 margin calls, it will buy 4 times plus the first one, which will be 4 margin calls plus the first margin plus the first buying amount. That will make it $500, so that it can sell that at once. But then now the other 100 that will be bought afterwards can be sold independently. So if you add capital, then you also add margin calls, then the robot will be able to continue trading for you. But only if you put in sub-bin real-time settlement. That's when you'll keep on getting profits delivered. Otherwise, it will buy and keep until when it sells the last one, then to release everything together to you. So increase your number of margin calls and increase your capital. That is what you need to do so that the robot can continue doing that trade for you. Thank you.
All right. So the next question also continues like this. Let me see. Okay. So please, um is there any training session for beginners who just got registered? Is there any training session for beginners who just got registered? Okay, so the answer is yes. We have training sessions for beginners as well. Okay, then the next question: why do most traders prefer trading against the trend? Like if the trend is uptrend, they be shorting for a few minutes. So please kindly handle that question. Why do most traders prefer trading against the trend? All right.
So this is an observation that people who want to say snipe the market, people who want to snipe the market usually do this so that they know that it will go down and then go up, because the market is uptrend, but it not just keep on going uptrend. So it has retraces and then it goes up. It retraces and then it goes up. So that's the risk that they want to take, that even as it is going up, they're earning either in especially for futures. This only works for futures. So especially for futures, when the market is going up, it goes up and then it retraces, then it goes up, then it retraces. So these are people who want to earn from both directions. But as you said, it's very risky, because sometimes it may change direction and go rapidly far up and liquidate you. So that's the risk of trying to trade against the trend. Should it go up? Should it go up suddenly and massively? Then you will be liquidated, especially if you didn't put margin calls. So it's a venture people are trying to do, but you must be skilled and you must always have margin calls. Don't try it if you don't know what to do, especially where it is likely to retrace up to and where it is likely to go up, or when it is supposed to, when it can retrace and go in a different direction. So should it surprise you, you'll see fire. So it is good. You can do it. You can use a hedge mode. You hedge the trade, but one, you must be alert. You must know what you are doing, and you must be available. Don't do it and go away. You will find your trade already closed, and only to go to check for profit and find it's already liquidated. The trade is closed and it's not there. So it's a risky. Let those who know what to do do it. Unless you have experience, just go with the market trend. That's my response for that. So I'll look at the next question. Please let me add to leader. What was that? Let me add to leader was to the person who with stacked trade. That's not clear. Please, what is the best way to choose when your trade coin is to be delisted? When your coin is to be delisted, the best thing to do is get out of that trade before it goes further against you. Get out and save a little of the capital that you have and go recover it elsewhere. Or if that coin is available on other exchanges, then you can move it to another exchange and see if you can trade it there. Otherwise, the best thing is sell and get out of that trade before it moves drastically and takes everything, or it's delisted and you lose everything. So please, that's the answer for that. Please, can you show how to add margin to running futures trade through the bot? It's just adding margin calls. There's nothing different. You add your margin calls, you set your margin calls, and then you set the number of drop and the multiples in your settings. It's not something different. When you're using the app, it's very easy. You set them before even you start trading. Please, I need help. My national identity card is expired and now finding it hard to access my Binance account. How can I complete the verification? Now, that's for documentation. If your ID is expired, renew one, or get a passport and change to a passport. Otherwise, you'll have a challenge accessing that because you cannot run it without verification. Is any different between using isolated wireless setting margin call and cross margin without setting margin call to robot? Please write questions that can be answered. How does the RoyalQ robot function? How will you explain the function of a RoyalQ robot to a beginner? Sometimes we get answers here that you laugh at first. So how does the RoyalQ robot function? This is the explanations that we give in every presentation. In every business presentation, we explain how the robot works, how it uses martingale, it uses inbuilt AI to buy and sell cryptos. It uses inbuilt mathematical formulae to buy and monitor the market and buy and sell cryptos. It uses its own settings that are inbuilt to buy and indicators to buy and sell robots coins for you. All those things are the things that we explain in presentations. So please attend the next presentation and listen keenly so that you can know how to explain to your prospect how the RoyalQ app works. So, great answers, thank you. Please, my downline referred a new person, but I couldn't receive indirect bonus. If that downline is either you brought him or he was brought by someone that you brought, that's the only time you'll get a bonus. There was a new change in the compensation plan, and therefore, if Albert refers Tom, Albert gets $30. If Tom brings Joseph, Tom will earn his $30, and Albert will earn $5. The sponsor who brought Albert will get nothing. Especially if he's not in the pool, he'll get nothing. If he's in the pool, he'll be paid through the pool system. So the referral bonuses are only going to 2 levels deep. Only 2 levels deep. I bring you, I get $30. You bring someone, you get $30, I get 5. He brings someone else, we are not entitled. So that's what happened to you. So make sure that you keep on building people around you so that when they bring others, you can also get your 30 and you can also get your 5. Otherwise, the depth is now not free fall. So it is only too deep. Is it possible to add margin calls to a running futures trade, just like what we can be done to spot trading? If it is possible, how do you add the margin calls? I think I have addressed that question. Please, my downline forgot her password and also security answers. So please, how can I help her? Because I have been contacting RoyalQ since. RoyalQ gave you 2 options. Security, and you as the owner of the business, you are in charge of the security of your business. You set the password and you also set the security questions, which we should have written down somewhere. Don't just assume you are too smart, you cannot forget. Write them somewhere. Otherwise, if you forget them, you forget about that account. You can continue writing, but chances that it will be restored are very low. chances that they'll restore it are very low, because they say maybe someone wants to steal your account because you don't have a password, you don't have the security answers. So make sure you do what? You write down your security, your passwords, your security answers, and you also write down the email you have used. I also had a member who used I created a new email, put new password and everything, but and made a deposit of 10,000. He made a deposit of about $90 so that she can come and complete the following week. Then unfortunately she lost that phone. So when she came back, she couldn't remember which email she had used. Up to now, she has tried looking for the email. He could not find it. So that account is pending up to now. So let's be careful with our details. When you are opening RoyalQ, we should be very keen. We should also understand that us, as the people who are sponsoring our new members, we should also understand that this business starts in a small way, although it's a very big business. Let people see the bigger picture, that what they are starting is not a small thing that they can be getting $1 or $2 every day. You can get a lot of money from this business. So take it as a serious business. Take your security situation very seriously, and don't allow strangers to inbox you, because there are many people who are out here trying to do what? To lure you so that they can either steal from you or scam you in some way. Please keep off. Keep your security. Your account security is very, very confidential. Only
Okay,
share
so
where you might. Yes.
let me add up. So the person
Yes.
that has lost his or her account, now get the RoyalQ email, write to them on email. If you write to them on email, they'll ask you to provide your last withdrawal amount that you deposited on RoyalQ. So you have to go to Binance and then also get your withdrawal history. So these are the details that they will request from you. And if you're able to provide it accurately, your account will be restored. So they will request for your last deposit, okay, in RoyalQ. So you have to get that one from Binance. And then also the money you use to activate your RoyalQ account, they also ask for it. So if you're able to provide those two screenshots, they will do that for you. So write to them on RoyalQ, maybe on email, through email. If you write to them through email, if you go to the RoyalQ page and then you write, I don't think you get the necessary feedback. So go write to them through email and then they will tell you what to do. All right. Okay, please, you can proceed.
Yes, there's Mohammed here asking, please, if you are direct downline subscribe, would I receive bonus? Yes, $30. I noticed that the profit is not always added in my Binance. The profit made by the robot for me. That there must be a problem somewhere, because
Please mute that person. Can you make me a co-host so that I can mute that person there?
yes.
All right, so we can proceed.
So we continue. So we continue. So
Okay,
he is continuing to say, Mohammed is adding that it has been occurring even on the Binance of my team member with $200 do not reflect in her Binance. He's trading spot trading. I don't know whether Leader Emmanuel, can you be able to answer these questions? Because
please raise the
they
question.
look.
Read the question for me. Since because I joined later, I've missed
yes.
some of the questions.
Samson is asking, I noticed that the profit is not always added in my Binance. The profit made by, in brackets, the profit made by the robot for me. And it has been occurring even on the Binance of my team member with $200, do not reflect in her Binance. She is trading spot trading.
All right. Now, if you are trading on spots, this is not supposed to be, right? So it's two things. Either you choose to close the trade manually before the actual trade is being delivered. Now, this is what happened. If you have an ongoing trade in RoyalQ and then you tamper with that same USDT in your Binance account, the trade would appear on RoyalQ as ongoing trade, but it has already paused or stopped in your exchange. That will be the only time you say that a profit may not add up. In that case, even if you make $1,000 profit in RoyalQ, you will never receive the profits in your Binance account. But if not, if it is normal trading that you set up the trade, it's on go, it's delivered, you set up new one, it's not supposed to be so. So please check how you've been tampering with your USDT in your exchange. There are some people, sometimes I've seen this, maybe not, it may not be you, but it's an observation that I've seen from a lot of people, that people set up a trade. If the trade keeps long to be delivered, they convert the USDT to do whatever they want to use the USDT for. When they are back, they still expect that whilst they've seen the green in RoyalQ, that green profit should be added to their exchange, which is not going to be so, right? But if it is an actual trade that you set up, you have the trade on go in your exchange as well as in RoyalQ, then it will never happen to be so, because I think 90% of traders here will testify that no one experienced that. So if you are experiencing that, this may be the caution. Maybe you set up the trade, then you tamper with the USDT in the exchange. Anytime you set up a trade and you tamper with that USDT in the exchange, you will never get the results. Hope that is clear. So unless, if not so, then we may find another alternative. But then that is the only thing that I can talk about, because we all trade, we set up the trade, we see the results in our exchanges. Even a newbie person who set up a trade today will tell you that I've seen my results. So if it happens you are not seeing the results, then the condition may be that maybe you may be tampering with the USDT in your exchange whilst you have the trade in your RoyalQ account. Okay, so I guess that is it. Please, the next question. So if your direct downline subscribe, would I receive bonus? Yes, if your direct downline subscribe, you receive $30 bonus. If it's your direct, as in you register the person straight away, you receive $30 bonus. Then I noticed that the profit is not always added in my Binance, the profit made by the robot for me. So that is what I've explained just now. And it has been occurring even on Binance of my team. Yes, that is the exact thing that I keep explaining. So the person was trying to move his profits from futures to funding, and this has been occurring. So what could be the cause? Okay, so now I've explained this earlier on, that if you are trading on the futures market, if you are using cross margin, mostly you have multiple trades in the market. If you have multiple trades in the market, there is no way, it will be so difficult. Listen, it may be so difficult for you to transfer funds from the futures account to your funding. Why? Because anytime the market goes against you, a little drop of money that appears in your futures account will be added up to the funds to trade. Which simply means you may see the funds there as $300, but that money cannot be withdrawn because it still keep adding up in the trade that is ongoing. Hope that is clear. Hope that is clear. So if you have an ongoing trade in your futures account, always know when to separate your actual funds into the spot funding or spot wallet. Immediately you add that funds to it and then it is on cross margin, that funds will be so difficult to be separated. Okay. So please, Coach Emmanuel, you gave training on pivot points few days ago and you promised to elaborate more on it. Thank you. Okay, so I guess this is not technical analysis session. This is Q&A session. So unless maybe you have a question to ask with regards to pivot point, that is when I can be able to do that. But if talking about elaborating on that lesson, that have to be with technical analysis. Okay, please, my line referred, but I couldn't receive the bonus. So I guess that question has been answered by Leader Chadwick already. So please let me add or contribute to Leader Chadwick Bimbo's response to the person who said his or her trade has reached its margin call limit and it's no longer buying or selling. What I mean by the person that has stuck the trading. Okay, so let me see. All right, you've been asked on mute.
Hello, my leader. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
In addition to what Leader Chadwick said, for stock trade, because I have passed through such a situation severally and I'm still into that again. Before one we open margin calls or add more money to the coin, one, you have to make sure that the trade is a good one, that is not something that is still going down and going down. You keep on heaping money, because I did that and all my capital just eroded in a KDK. That KDK coin, I bought it at 1.5 and above dollar. KDK still went down to 300 and it's still at that rate now, up till now. And that thing was held for 7 good months before I decided to sell at a loss. 7 good months. Since that time till now, that KDK is still lying low there. So the person will look for somebody that will help him do analysis. He can equally chat GPT up to help him do analysis of that particular coin to make sure, one, that coin is not going to have issue. Maybe they want to delist it, or it doesn't have momentum, they have issue, maybe the owners withdrew money from it and so on. People are no longer investing in the coin. Because if you keep on putting in more money, at the end of the day, you see yourself landing in 1 year without that coin shaking body. So that is the contribution I want to make. It's good to open margin calls, it's good to add more money and do your this in multiples. If you add more money and you're just doing 1 in multiples, what I mean by multiple buying ratio, you have to increase it, because that was what I did. I did it in SRP to be specific now. SRP is going to 3 months now. It's going to 3 months. I keep on putting money. This thing keep on going down and going down and going down. So I don't know what the problem is with that coin again. And SRP is a good coin. Do you understand? It's a good coin. It has good ranking. It has good dominance. I don't know why it's decided to be wicked to me like that. So that's my contribution. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. SRB is not wicked to you, my dear. All right, so let's proceed. Thank you for your contribution. Okay, so if you have any question, you can drop it in the chat box. You can, let me see. So if you have any question, you can drop it in the chat box. So far, we spent 1 hour and 16 minutes here, and our session is supposed to take an hour. At most, it's an hour 30 minutes. At worst, that is an hour or 2 hours. So on this note, you can feel free to ask your question. If you have any question to ask, you can feel free to ask so that we do justice to that. My question has not been answered. What is your question? Kindly drop it back here. I can see that message sent before you join the meeting. Yeah, so I logged out. So please drop your question again if possible so that it can be answered for you. My question has not been answered, so drop your question. Okay, so guys, let me see. All right, raise your hand. It's either you drop it again, or you raise your hand. So any of them, raise your hand and. So raise your hand or drop your question in the chat box, please. We are waiting for you. All right, so guys, whilst we are waiting for him to do that, if I don't know, either he's dropping the question or he's raising his hand, I can't tell. Okay, so if you have any question, feel free to ask your question, or so drop the question in the chat box. Just drop the question. If it seems you can't raise your hand, so drop your question in the chat box to just make things easier for you. Yeah, drop your question in the chat box. So please, is it good choosing short direction when trading meme coin? Is it good choosing short direction when trading meme coin? All right, now in the case of shorting a coin, there is nothing like good. There is nothing like good or bad here. What is good is your analysis. If your analysis tells you to short the trade, then it is good for you. If your analysis tells you to long the trade, then it is good for you. So meme coin rises, meme coin falls. It doesn't follow one direction. So if it happens that you are shorting the trade, then you should be aware that the market is on downtrend. If you are longing the trade, then you should be aware that the market is on what uptrend. So whatever direction you choose to trade, you should get to know that it would always make decision or make sense based on your analysis, right? So you cannot just let's assume you decide to short a trade because it's you want to short it. No, but either shorting a trade or longing a trade is based on a particular decision that you've made for yourself based on market analysis. Hope that is clear. So the idea of shorting a trade should be faced based on the fact that you've analyzed the market and you've realized that it is good to short the trade. All right. And please, can I short at RSI 80? Can I short at RSI 80? So in most of our sessions on technical analysis, we've explained part of this RSI and other indicators that you cannot base on only RSI to make decision, but you can find confirmations on different indicators as well. So if you decide to short RSI, that is its overbought zone, and within the overbought zone, it's either the market will have a continuation or a pullback. So before you can be able to make that decision of shorting that asset on RSI 80, first go for confirmation on other indicators like being it MACD or moving averages to see the trend so that you can proceed to make your decision. Hope that is clear. Hope that is clear. Okay, so let me see how to calculate FBI using futures, best margin call drops, and multiple buying ratio to set using the leverage in the first question. So your questions are 3 or 2. Best margin call drops and multiple buying ratio to set using leverage in the first question. So the Chadwick, this gentleman is asking of how he can calculate for first buying amount using on the futures. How he can calculate for first buying amount on the futures, and then also the call drops to be used. All right, so kindly handle that question for him.
Okay, I'll answer it this way. To trade futures, there's a minimum price that a price or quantity of coins that you must buy of a specific coin. And usually the price is given when you have set your trade in your RoyalQ. The price is usually indicated that the minimum price is maybe $5. $7. It all depends on the coin. So once you have seen that the minimum amount is that amount which is set there, then you also determine, you are also shown that maybe $7, $5 can buy 7 coins. Then you determine how many coins will you require to have the amount that you want to buy. But how do you get the amount you want to buy? To get the amount you want to buy, you start with how much money do you have yourself? And what leverage do you want to use? And then how many margin calls do you want to set? Which trade settings are you going to use? There are so many questions. This is something I think that should be addressed in a presentation, and usually done in settings, trade settings presentations on Mondays. So you need to know those first major important answers. So if you have $100, how much of this $100 do you want to invest as your first buying amount or as your first margin? So if you say you want to put 20%, then that will make that $20. So $20 is what you want to invest, and 7 coins are equivalent to $5. So how many coins will you need so that you can be able to buy the amount? You can use the $20 to buy. So if 7 coins are equals to $5, then how many coins are equals to $20? That's the calculation that you should do. So in this case, 5 is divisible. 5 multiplied by 4 will give you 20. So 4 multiplied by 7 will give you 28. So you need 28 coins to be able to buy for $20. But if you are using your leverage, and you are using your leverage, then you multiply that leverage by the amount that we are talking about. So you multiply the leverage by the 28. So if you are buying for 10x leverage, you multiply 28 times 10. So you put there 280 coins, and the 280 coins will give you an equivalent of $200 price. So if you are using 5 leverage, then you multiply 28 times 5, which is going to give you, is it 7? Around 7. So that is how you are going to do what? How you are going to do your calculations. The number of coins that you need and the capital you want to use times the leverage that you have chosen. So that's how I would tell you. And then the margin cost, the margin cost also depends on your trade settings. So what do you want to do? What is your drop like? What is your multiple buying amount like? How many margin costs do you want to trade? So all these things are what we train people so that they can determine what their trading strategy is going to be, so that you are consistent with your trading strategy and you are able to understand what is how it works and where it doesn't work, so that you can edit or you can work with it effectively to make good profits out of the market. So trade settings are different. They are default settings. You can also edit your own. So all these things are trained fortunately, all these things are trained every Monday. So please make sure that on Monday you attend the how to set the settings presentation on Monday morning. Thank you.
All right, you are welcome. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I think every question has been answered clearly. All questions has been answered clearly. Now, just as I said, this session is question and answer session, and what we do is we break down questions. In as much as we do that, what you also need to understand is the respective question that comes also have their further topics. Okay, so for instance, if with technical analysis, we have special classes for technical analysis. If we trade settings, we have special classes for trade settings that we go in-depth knowledge about trade settings, right? So whatever thing that you need to know, you should understand that we have specific days that we handle them one after the other as well. So do not miss some of these sessions. It will really help you. It will build you, and then also ensure that you can also grow in your specific area where you also want to specialize so far as trading and RoyalQ is concerned. Okay, so let me see. I've seen what other exchange apart from Binance allows 5 to 10x. Yes, it's only Binance for now. It's only Binance that allow that. All the exchanges that provides are giving 1x 2x. But if you are using other exchanges, you can also set up the exchange to ensure that your leverage based on your calculation. You can also do possible calculations to ensure you have good strategy in your what do you call the exchange. So for instance, if you are using Bybit, you can do your calculation just as you use 20x or 10x. Then you go on your exchange to change the leverage. That is all, right? Okay, my ID is expired in Uganda, but not yet renewed. Is this are you talking about RoyalQ? Are you talking about RoyalQ? Not yet renewed. So renew it as soon as possible. Okay. So how does leverage affect margin calls in futures trading? How does leverage affect margin calls in futures trading? Okay. Now let's see it this way. So please, the person who is talking about account renewal, I don't know either it's a question or you are just informing us. I can't tell. Yes, so my ID is expired in Uganda, but the no yet renewed. So renewed it, and I don't know which ID you are talking about, either your RoyalQ account or your personal ID. I can't tell. Sometimes some of the questions, if you ask, be specific so that we can exactly know what you want to communicate, right? Very good. Now, how does leverage affect margin calls in futures trading? Okay, now first we've been saying that if you open margin calls, it is important to know that whatever capital that you use to open margin calls, it also reflects in your exchange as your margin, right? So for instance, if let me share my screen. Okay, I guess my screen is visible. Which one? Okay, let me see. All right, I have the screen shared here. So okay, now let's assume you have 4 margin calls. Okay, 4 margin calls here. Your capital is $20. Each drop you want to buy $5 or $5. Yeah, let me use 5. So each drop you want to buy 5, 5, 5, 5. How does your leverage affect this? It is important for you to know that if you don't do your calculations right, always you get things messed in your exchange. So if I'm using 10x, automatically if I'm buying this is going to reflect in my exchange. Okay, so if in my RoyalQ I decide to buy $5, it simply means in my exchange is not going to reflect as $5. That is 10 divided by 5. Let's look at it and see. Let's look at it. So 5 by 10, that is going to give 0.5. Who is that? You join the call, You mute yourself. Why do you want to distract us? Hmm? Okay. So I guess you can see my screen, right? Which simply means in actual sense, you are using 0.5. So sometimes the leverage does not only apply to the FBA. That's what we think. The leverage does not only apply to the FBA. So if you want to use this 5 USDT, then you should know in your exchange it's going to appear as 0.5 USDT. Do you get it? So if I know my first buying amount, I'm going to use $5, $5, $5. Then I should calculate it based on the leverage that I have. So the leverage do affect the call drops. That is the reason why sometimes you set up a trade, you realize that you've opened good margin calls, but yet it does not match based on the capital you have in your exchange. It's because you don't get that attention of your margin cost calculation based on the leverage that you are using. So the leverage do affect the margin cost, and its effect is based on the calculation that you will do, right? So I rest my case on that. Okay, let me see the last question. Your screen is not showing. Oh, but I guess you also saw my screen. So how can I change my leverage in Bybit? Like you rightly said, because it has refused to change from 1x. So you would change it when you set up the reason why I'm not being able to do that is I don't trade on Bybit, right? I don't trade on Bybit, and I don't have funds on Bybit now, right? So over here, if you want to just do the calculation in your exchange as we've been doing on Binance. So this is it. Let me clear off this first. You know you have $100, right? You want to use 10x, which is going to be $1,000. So just do that. Set it up based on $1,000. Go in your exchange. Tap on the leverage. You will see it there. For now, I don't have if unless I have an ongoing trade before it can be demonstrated. So if you have an ongoing trade, we can demonstrate that to you, right? So just change the leverage. Once you click on the leverage, change it to 10x. Automatically it will divide the capital there, the capital in your exchange, so that it can reflect and match what you have here. So if you have ongoing trade, you can let me know so that you share your screen for us to assist you on that. Okay. So I've stopped sharing my screen. All right. So guys, I believe you spent enough time here. Yes, I have ongoing trade. Okay, then raise your hand. Raise your hand. Let me give you the co-host power so that you can share your screen. Okay. So Leader Chadwick, kindly do that. It seems co-host cannot do that. So unless the host, so do that or make him a co-host and let him share his screen. Leader Chadwick, can you hear me? Mm,
Okay, done.
okay. So my dear, share your screen. Just share your screen. Don't do any other things. Just share your screen. Okay. I can see you are sharing your screen. Yes, so go to Bybit. Go to your account. Go to Bybit. You are talking about Bybit, so go to Bybit. Just go to Bybit, my dear. Are you not the one? Oh, no, we are not talking about Binance. We are not talking about Binance. Hmm? All right, then stop sharing then. We're not talking about Binance. We're talking about Bybit. Hmm? Bybit. Okay. All right. So thank you. Okay. So I guess that is all. So if in case you have Bybit ongoing trade, you can let us know. If not, I guess we have to end here for this session. If God permits, we shall still meet again on the platform, right? So today is Friday. Let's keep trading. I guess you are doing good because so far so good. Technical analysis session has been provided. We provided good knowledge. Signal providers are also doing good, and various discussions are being made. We are providing series of sessions to ensure that you can be able to trade on your own to make good profits. So I guess you are doing good. All right, if God permits, Monday we are starting a new session on technical analysis, right from trading view, how to customize your trading view, candlesticks. We are starting everything afresh. So all new members shouldn't be worried at all. All the sessions would get started again, right? So by God's grace, I'm healthy enough to be with you. So we'll proceed with all sessions. Tomorrow is Saturday. That is orientation, okay, new user orientation, and get prepared to be there. And then Sunday too is leadership training and team talk. So let's get prepared to be there. So your last question, which is better, cross or isolated? Yes, they are all good based on your preference. They are all good based on your preference. Cross is good by helping you sustain more in the market. Isolated is also good by securing your funds if it happens liquidation should be triggered. Yes, so they are all good based on your preference. If you are the type you are afraid of liquidation, then don't go for cross, because when you get liquidated, all your funds will go out of your account. And if you want to sustain long in the market, then go for cross. If you don't want to, if you don't want all your funds to be liquidated, use isolated. If you're afraid of liquidation, don't go for cross. That is the news. Okay, so they are all good based on your preference and then understanding. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we can end here. I believe we can end here. If God permits, we shall still meet on the platform. Always, leaders are open. Don't jump into anyone's DM. Listen, don't jump into anyone's DM. Don't let anyone also jump into your DM telling you he is this or that. Even if he is God, no. Just protect yourself so that no one scams you. If you think you want better mentorship, there are numerous leaders there who are active, who can assist you. If you think you need someone to be there for you all the time, just be reasonable enough to go into any leaders. Just plead the person. With genuine heart, tell the person you want to be his or a mentor, or you want him to be you or whatever it is. Discuss with the person. If the person can do that, that is fine. Don't let anyone force you to be his or her mentor. Listen, don't let anyone force you to be his or her mentor. Be on your own, build yourself, grow on your journey. Together, we shall all grow in this industry. We shall all succeed in this industry. Together, we shall all build and then also tell it a story together. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I believe time will permit us to end this session today. If God permits, we shall still meet another session. Mind you, Monday to Friday is technical analysis early in the morning, and also Monday 7:30 a.m. Ghana time, and then also which is 7 o'clock a.m. and then also 9 o'clock a.m. East African time, or 10 o'clock a.m. East African time is trade settings. Tuesday is team building strategies. Wednesday business presentation. Thursdays advanced trading, advanced knowledge in crypto trading, and then also snipers entry. Friday question and answer session. So let's follow the guide. Saturday is for new user orientation, and then Sunday is for team leadership training and team talk. So let's follow the timetable. Let's keep working together. If you don't understand anything, always feel free to ask, but make sure you don't allow yourself to be scammed by any foolish person who wants to use you, who wants to hunt on you, right? Take good care of yourself. Liquidation is real, so be careful how you trade. Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy, and stay safe in the markets. I believe this message is good enough to guide you. Take care of yourself and let's grow together. I wish you all the best in your trading journey and have a good day. Love you all. Bye 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 bye. Okay, so I believe, did Chadwick, if there is any announcement, if there is anything.
There's none. Let's just keep on working together, and we make the best out of this opportunity. I know that our brothers in Oracle are really trying to hunt us down, but let's be focused on what we are doing. Let's focus on what we are doing. You have a great opportunity here. Let's go.
All right, so let's go in peace. Bye 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 bye. All right, love you all.